We have another episode of GCA Hootworthy happening. Cool story here of a GCA alumni actually joining us. So please tell us your name and what year you graduated GCA.
Yes, I'm Damacia Howard, and I graduated GCA in 2021, so this year.
2021, awesome. And how long actually were you with GCA?
I've been with GCA since the 6th grade, so for a very, very long time, and I've loved every moment of it. Everyone at GCA is so incredibly awesome. The teachers, everyone a part, and it's definitely made my years at school much more enjoyable and memorable.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we're gonna miss you at their GCA fam. But and where are you headed, Demasia?
I'm going to Georgia State University.
Georgia State University. Awesome.
Yes.
Have you decided what you're studying there?
I'm leaning towards film, theater studies, art history, things of that nature, and just basically anything art related.
Awesome. Well, cool. So that's actually a pretty good segue to what we're talking about here, this Hootworthy thing that you accomplished. So tell me a little bit about this pageant that you entered. It's called the National American Miss Georgia Teen, right?
Yes. So that is my title. The pageant itself is called National American Miss, but I did win National American Miss Georgia Teen 2021. So my title is specifically for this year. And then next year, I'll crown the National American Miss Georgia Teen for 2022.
So that's so that is your title.
Yes.
You won first place. And did this just happen back in July? When was it?
This happened back in July. I won the title, yes. And then, of course, well, they set it up in this way. So you have the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, and then the winner. So I was the winner. And then 4 lovely young women were my 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th alternates.
That is so awesome. So you won first place at this pageant back in July. And is this actually the first pageant contest that you have entered?
No, this was the first pageant I did back in 2015, but since then I've done multiple different pageants, different pageant systems, like the Miss USA system for the teen side. So I did Miss Teen USA and other systems as well. So I've been doing it for quite a while. So
you said you started in 2015 doing the pageant thing. Wow. Okay. So would you say this is kind of like a hobby of yours? Like, why are you participating in these pageants?
Yeah, I would definitely call it a hobby, something that I've just, done during the summer, just, something to do outside of, my academics and other activities that I'm involved in. But it initially started out because I just wanted to be able to travel with this particular system, National American Miss, back in 2015. If I won, I got to go to California. And that was always like one of my dreams. I love to travel. So I've been to California, and my next dream is to go to New York. But so it's just been that. And then, of course, being going into college now, it's a great way to gain scholarships. That's my number one priority, is being able to help pay for my college education in any way that I possibly can. So it's really just great for, that's one of the reasons why I've done it. It's just for those two things mainly. It's to really just provide myself with scholarship opportunities as well as travel across this nation.
Those are cool. So those are great reasons. Scholarships, obviously, and the travel piece. So you said you went to California. Is that because of this pageant that you won?
Yes. So Nationals then was held in California. This year, Nationals is being held in Orlando because of COVID and how badly California was hit. So we did switch, but I think they said in about 5 years, they'll go back to California.
Wow. So the pageant that you just competed in July, that was in California. Wasn't in
No,
Georgia.
it was the state pageant.
Okay.
Nationals is in California. Nationals is where all the states come together and they compete for the national title.
Oh, so you didn't actually get to go to California. You're going to Orlando.
I did go to California in 2015. In 2015, 2016, I did, but just last year was the first year they had it in Orlando because of COVID.
I see. So 2015, you go to California.
Yeah, I did. It was fun.
What piece of California were you in?
Anaheim.
Okay. I've never been there, but I've heard it's great. And so
It
what was your favorite part about going to California, Demasia?
Disney World, 100%. You get to go to Disneyland, two different Disney's.
Disneyland. Okay.
It was really fun. I got to eat a churro. It was so delicious. I love food. So that was a highlight for me. And then we also got to go, we got to go to Beverly Hills, which was really fun. Just got to go to Rodeo Drive, go to the boardwalk. All of that was really, really cool.
Who doesn't love a churro? Now I'm hungry. So this pageant that you just won, how did this compare to previous pageants were you in? Was it the same type of like activities? And tell me like what took place at that pageant. Were there different categories? Tell me a little bit about that and how it compared to previous ones.
Right. So each pageant in general has their own different categories. It's going to vary again for each pageant system, but for this particular system, we had to do interview where we sit down with 6 judges and we have a one-on-one interview with each of them. We had introduction where we stand up in front of a crowd and basically give a 30-second introduction into who we are, what we like to do, where we're from. And then we have gown where we walk on stage in a gown and we just, show our poise and our confidence to the judges and to the audience.
Oh, wow. So you had interview, individual, and you said 6 judges. So you had to do an interview with six different times.
Yes. They only asked us one question. So it was one question each.
Okay.
So 6 questions total, but that was so that each judge got the chance to meet each girl and get to know a little more about them one-on-one.
What was the hardest question for you to answer? Do you remember?
Oh my gosh. I typically, since you're such in the moment, and it's kind of like an adrenaline rush, it kind of goes through one ear and out the other. But sure. I probably one of the most memorable questions I got asked was, what does a typical day look like for you? And during the summer, I was a camp counselor. So I got to talk about, waking up at 6 a.m. and having to be at camp at 7 and making sure the kids had their breakfast and just basically the typical day as a camp counselor. So that one was probably, I wouldn't say any of them were difficult because they were all asking about me and I knew how to answer the questions about myself, but that one was the most memorable for me.
Oh, I see. Well, that's fun. And so you were a camp counselor this summer. What camp was it?
It was called Camp Promise. It's my church. My church has a school and the school had a camp. So it was Camp Promise. Oh,
fun. That's awesome. And so you do the interview piece, you do the gown piece.
Yes.
And so it was only those 2 pieces, or am I forgetting one?
And then personal introduction, where you have to give a 30-second introduction about who you are in front of the judges and in front of a small crowd.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so based on those categories, they score you and you ended up winning the thing. First place, huh?
Yes, I did.
That's fun. And so is this the first time that you've won first place at any of the pageants you've participated in?
No, this is not my first time winning a title. I again did NAM in 2015 and then I came back and did it in 2016 and I won in 2016 when I was younger. That was the preteen title. So then I came back a few years later as a teen now. So I'm 18 and I won for the teen division.
Oh, that's so cool. So when you say you win, so you won state those times and you said you're going to nationals in October?
November.
November?
Yes.
Now, did you win any of the nationals when you've gone there in the past?
No, I didn't win nationals in 2016, but I did place top 10 nationally. So
cool.
Among all the states, I placed top 10.
Cool.
This year, we don't know what'll happen, but hopefully I'll get to do that same thing and hopefully place top 10. And if I place higher, then that's awesome.
That's great. Yeah. So you're heading off to nationals in November in Orlando. Okay, so that's your next piece. Is it going to be the same categories? Have they told y'all how it's going to work or what?
Same exact categories. The categories don't change. The only thing is just that of course it's national, so there are going to be a few more judges because we have a lot more girls competing. But the same categories.
That's awesome. And if you win this thing, are all of the winnings scholarship stuff? Because you said that you're doing these pageants for scholarships. Are they going to, if you're crowned or nationals or whatever, is that more scholarship prizes or what are the prizes for this?
It is a bunch of prizes, but of course, you do get a scholarship, which I will definitely put towards my next school. You get to travel across the entire country because you have to visit state pageants. So you get to do that. You get many sponsorship gifts from all the sponsors of the national pageant. So you get a long list of prizes. The list is about 2 pages long. So
that's fun. Have you made any good friends or lasting friendships doing these pageants? I mean, you've been doing this pageant circuit till 2015. So do you have any people that you like are still at the pageants that have been back there, are the same people doing pageants? How does that work?
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people don't do them for that long. So they'll do them for a couple of years and they'll leave and they'll, focus on school. But being with GCA, it's been a lot easier to focus on school and do all of my other activities. Yeah. It's been so easy to manage my time. But, you do meet a lot of people, but it can be difficult to just truly maintain once a weekend or maybe for a week and then you'll never see each other again. And especially if you're doing nationals and you meet people from across, the country and, you have those long distance friendships. But I have met some really nice people and, the girls that I have met, the majority of them are truly just wonderful individuals and I'm excited for their futures.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So we know that nationals are next for you with this competition in November. Is there anything else you're involved in that you want to share with us besides this pageant stuff, cool things that you're doing, Hootworthy things that you're involved in?
Yes. So I started my own nonprofit organization called Legendary Gyrl last year in the middle of the pandemic. And what it does is it just seeks to recognize and honor young women who are serving in their community. And we really, started this nonprofit because we saw so many young women serving during COVID and they were doing it safely. But a lot of organizations just across the country shut down because they just couldn't do it with COVID. And a lot of volunteer organizations require interaction physically. So it is basically something that was almost impossible to do without, passing the virus on to someone else. So with those young ladies doing, just participating in their communities and continually serving while doing it safely for them and for the people they are trying to help. It was truly legendary. And so that's why we call them our Legendary Gyrls. And so we send them care packages with just a few gifts, inducting them as honorary Legendary Gyrls. And we're just so excited and thankful to them for doing, these awesome things because it's not asked and it's not needed, a lot, it is needed, but it's not needed of them. You don't have to do it, but it's something that is great for you to do. And a lot more people should get involved in volunteering and helping others in their communities.
That is so neat. So this Legendary Gyrl organization, nonprofit you started, right?
Yeah.
You send care packages to young ladies who are already volunteering. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, so we send gift boxes just as a way to say thank you for their service because like I mentioned before, it's not asked of them to do so, but they do it out of the kindness of their own hearts. And so again, we just induct them as honorary Legendary Gyrls and we send them nice little gift boxes with memorabilia.
Yeah. Celebrating their service. That's awesome. So
and as the nonprofit grows, we're going to start awarding scholarships to one Legendary Gyrl a year.
That is great. And how do you hear about these Legendary Gyrls? So how do you decide to send these gifts? How do you hear about them?
So for our first year starting, a lot of the girls are girls that I knew, that I grew up with, who I've seen volunteering a lot in their communities. But as we progress and as we continue, we're going to take nominations, so people can nominate, young women they know, whether it's their daughters, their friends, nieces, and then from there, our committee will choose legendary girls for each month. And then at the end, once we've gathered all the months of all the girls of each month, then we'll choose one girl to receive the scholarship.
Very cool. And do you have a website? What is it?
Yes, we do. It is legendarygyrl.com .org. Sorry.
Legendarygyrl.org. And is that girl, are there any legendary or girls spelled differently or what?
Yes. Legendary is spelled regularly, but girl is spelled GYRL instead of GIRL.
Nice. Because GIRL was taken, right?
So. Probably. A little bit different.
Okay. That is so neat. So if people want to know more about Legendary Gyrl, they can check out your website, GYRL .org, right?
Yes, .org.
Awesome. So, well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us here, Demasia, and, making GCA proud, obviously, with this pageant win for Georgia. And then also we're going to be rooting for you as well at nationals here in Orlando in November. Are there any shout outs you want to give before we end?
I want to give a shout out to everyone at National American Miss, our national directors, the mazes, my state director, Matt. I want to give a shout out to all of my GCA teachers who I've had, all my principals, everyone who works there, my counselor, Miss Adams, just everybody. I'm going to miss you guys so much. Thank you for being a part of my life and my academic journey since I was in 6th grade. I really appreciate you all. And I am forever a GCA owl. And I'm so grateful, and shout out to my wonderful parents as well.
That's awesome. Demasia, we appreciate you here rooting for you. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you guys.